Hello! Today I thought we would make a beautiful eucalyptus soap. It's actually going to be eucalyptus with a tiny bit of spearmint, and we're going to actually give it a gorgeous gradient design using some colours. I've picked two colours here. I've got a beautiful coral colour and a green, and then we're going to be using some titanium dioxide as well to whiten it up. But let's start by preparing our oils. I'm going to melt down my coconut oil and my palm oil, and we'll use a little bit of our oils to mix our colours. Now, eucalyptus isn't everybody's most favourite oil, but I have to say it has a really beautiful, clean, fresh note to it. Almost, well, it is clinical, isn't it? It's just a really, really lovely, fresh fragrance. I like to sweeten it with just a little bit of spearmint essential oil. It just adds that little extra to it. Eucalyptus is an oil that I really like to use when I'm decongested, when I've got a cold, or I'm feeling run down. And I literally just want the tiniest little bit of oil just to wet these. So now that I've already mixed my colours, I can get my lye solution added. I'm just going to take this to a nice light trace. And I'm going to add my essential oil at this point as well. Woo! There's a big hit of fragrance right there from those beautiful oils. Okay. So I'm going to start out with some of the soap with this deeper teal colour. And I'm going to need to keep fading this and make it lighter and lighter as we pour. I love making gradient soaps. Now I'm using a little soap dish, and I'm just going to use that to prop my mould up so that my mould is on an angle, but you can honestly use anything. Quite often I just use a sellotape roll. I'm just going to pour on my very first layer, just down the side, just a single stripe. And I need another cup now. I'm going to mix a little bit of this and a little bit of the uncoloured soap. I just want it a little bit lighter. We'll pour another layer. Now, how thick or how thin you make your layers is entirely up to you. There's no right or wrong. Was that 500 gram batch? We have enough to fill it and the leftovers. And there isn't enough.
You did weigh out 250 olive, didn't you?
I'm going to pop this under the blankets for 24 hours, and then we'll see how all those beautiful layers turned out and whether or not they represent the eucalyptus and spearmint soap. I do hope so, but my soap batter was definitely thickening up way too quickly there, so we might get a surprise. Well, let's have a look. Been under the blankets overnight. Ooh, it's pretty. A little bit of soda ash though for sure, but actually I honestly never mind soda ash. This is either going to be a triumph or a complete disaster. And it's a real lesson to everybody, no matter how often you make soap, it's a lesson in the basics. Let's have a look at this soap. So although the soap looks nice, there's a real issue here. And you can see on the top, it's crumbled. Why has it crumbled? What could have happened? And I like to look at soap at every stage as you're making it, and you start picking up on the things that are different and that have changed. So I love the patterning, I love the colour of the soap, but what's really happened here is that I've actually completely misweighed one of the ingredients that's gone into this, and I didn't add enough olive oil. So this particular recipe is light 100 grams of olive oil, and that is massive, and I won't actually be able to use this soap, but it is a fantastic way to showcase what can happen, why it happens, and when maybe you're cutting the soap or looking at something, how you can start noticing some of the things and think, well, why did that happen? Why did that go wrong? So you can really see the flaking as I'm cutting this soap, and that's because it's crumbly, and that's because it literally just doesn't have enough of the oils in the recipe for the amount of lye that is in the recipe. So when I weighed this out, I did 100 grams too little of the olive oil. So that has made it a lye heavy soap. And I could rebatch this, but then I'm going to lose all of the design. And although it's smooth here, as soon as you go to cut it, you get this flaking and this crumbling on the edges. There's a few things here. When I had this in the mould, you'll have noticed it didn't come up to the top. When I normally make this recipe, it comes up to the top and I often have enough left for an extra bar. And on this one, it was low, it was down here. And literally, as soon as it was in the mould, I'm thinking to myself, why is it so low? Now, the first thing is sometimes when you're doing swirls and other designs, especially when you've got lots of cups or jugs, there can be quite a lot of material still left in those. So the first thing that I did was to think, well, did I leave a load in the cups? Did I leave a load in the jugs? No, I didn't, not that much anyway. So then it was a case of, okay, what did I do? And I immediately realised that I'd completely misweighed one of the ingredients. And it just made sense to actually show you what happens and how you can start kind of being a detective and working out what happened when something does go wrong. And that was completely my fault. I've been pretty poorly for the last week and probably shouldn't have actually made soap. Probably better to get my head in a different place and try again another day. But it's a beautiful soap. You now have seen the technique that I use for doing it, and I will definitely do this again another day. The smell of eucalyptus and spearmint is beautiful. I'm super happy with the design overall. I just need to redo it with the correct recipe. So I hope that you enjoyed watching my soapy fail, and I can't wait to see you again with me really, really soon. Thanks so much for spending time with me today. Bye-bye for now.